I see this as a compact, everyday portable power station for people like me who bounce between working outside, quick overnights, weekend hikes, and short home outages. I'm not trying to run a cabin or an entire van on it. I want dependable power for a laptop, camera batteries, a small light, maybe a fan, and peace of mind when I step away from a wall outlet. That is exactly where this little box fits. The design is simple in a way that matters. The size feels like a small shoe box with rounded edges, and it sits solidly on the ground or the back of a car without sliding around. The color is that familiar black and orange, which makes it easy to spot in a pile of gear. The handle on top is the kind I do not think about anymore. I just grab it and go with one hand, even when I am juggling a backpack and tripod in the other. The weight is around 7.5 pounds, which is light enough that I do not hesitate to toss it into the car or carry it down a trail. The casing feels sturdy, not soft or creaky, and after getting bumped in the trunk and set down on gravel more times than I want to admit, it still looks good aside from a couple of scuffs. Those scuffs do show on the plastic if I am rough, but nothing has cracked, and the handle has never felt like it might give. The front layout keeps things obvious. I get a clear digital display with battery percentage and real-time input and output power. That display is bright enough to read in daylight, which saves me from squinting or shading it with my hand. The ports are what I actually use. There is an alternating current outlet for common plugs, a couple of universal serial bus ports including a Type-C, and a 12-volt car-style outlet. I do not feel like I am hunting for the right spot. I plug in, press the main power button, and the screen tells me exactly what is happening. The way the buttons are arranged makes sense, and I did not need to read a manual to figure it out. Setup is basically non-existent. The first time I used it, I plugged in my laptop charger, tapped the power button, and watched the display settle on the output number. I appreciate that the numbers are not just decoration. If I am trying to make a charge last, I can see what the laptop and a light are drawing together and decide whether I leave the light on. When I recharge the station, the display shows incoming power, so I know if the wall outlet, the car, or a solar panel is actually feeding it what I expect. The wall charger brings it back in a few hours, give or take, which fits my routine when I roll in late, drop bags, and want it ready for the next morning. Car charging from the 12-volt socket is steady on long drives. Solar charging works too, though the input ceiling is not high like the big boys, so I treat it as a top-up during the day rather than a fast refill. Core performance is about the battery and the inverter behaving like I need. The capacity is 256 watt-hours, which in my real use translates to 2 full laptop charges with a little left to keep my phone alive, or a long window of runtime for a panel light and a camera charger. The alternating current outlet is rated for up to 300 watts, and that line in the sand is real. Laptops, cameras, lights, small fans, a projector for an outdoor movie night, all of that is fine. When I tried a small electric kettle, the protection tripped immediately, and the unit shut the outlet down to keep itself safe. I am glad it protects itself, but it is a reminder that high-draw appliances are not what this is for. Noise is a non-issue. The fan stays very quiet. In most cases, I do not hear anything, which matters when I am recording audio nearby or just enjoying a quiet campsite. One of the reasons I stopped worrying about wearing it out is the battery chemistry. Inside is lithium iron phosphate, which holds up better over time and has a strong safety record. The company claims it can handle around 3,000 charge cycles before dropping to 80% capacity. I cannot fast forward years into the future, but that number lines up with my expectations for something I plan to use a lot without babying it. It does not get hot under normal loads, and I have never smelled anything odd or seen the unit behave unpredictably. The built-in protection handles overcurrent, overcharging, and short circuits, so I'm not crossing my fingers every time I plug in a new adapter. Let me paint a few days with it. On a spring afternoon, I set up at a park table to edit photos and light a small product shot. Laptop on the alternating current outlet, camera batteries cycling through a universal serial bus Type-C charger, and a compact panel light running through the alternating current outlet as well. The station sat there pulling a steady load, The display hovered around numbers that I expect for that setup, and I worked for a couple of hours without any drama. When the sun dipped, I was still around half battery. I packed up and headed home, plugged the station into the wall, and it was ready again by the time dinner was over. Another time I used it on an overnight shoot in a city park. I powered a portable light panel for hours and topped off my wireless microphone receiver between takes. The Explorer 240 version 2 did not blink. No audible whine on the audio recordings, no sudden cutoffs, and the display made it easy for me to decide whether I should swap to a dimmer light setting to stretch things out. For trips like that, it has become part of my standard kit. At home, it has been helpful during quick outages. I powered the cable modem and the wireless router through a simple backup plug, charged 2 phones, and kept the living room lamp on for a bit. That was enough to keep working and stay connected while waiting for the lights to come back. I also like it for backyard evenings. I have run a small projector and a compact speaker for a movie night without hauling a loud generator or running a cable. Again, I keep an eye on that 300-watt ceiling, but for casual gear, it delivers. There are a few quirks that stand out over time. The alternating current outlet limit means I treat it as a personal gear station, not an appliance driver. If I push it with a toaster or that kettle, it shuts down the outlet to protect itself, and I have to reset. The solar charging input is on the modest side, so when I tried a panel at midday, it climbed, but it was not a fast fill. That is fine for topping up while I work, not great if I expect a full refuel by lunch. There is no wireless charging pad on top, which would have been a nice convenience for a phone. The outer shell can show scuffs if I slide it across concrete or pile other gear on top, though the structure has held up for me. Also, there is only one alternating current outlet, and sometimes I wish I had a second one for those setups where 2 bulky plugs fight for space. None of these are deal breakers in my routine, but they are things I noticed after months of use. Some parts feel especially well considered. The display stays readable outside, so I do not guess at percentages. The universal serial bus Type-C port charges modern laptops and phones quickly, which I use more than the older ports. The handle placement balances the weight, so I do not feel like it is pulling me off to one side when I am walking. The charging options cover how I actually live: wall at night, car during the drive, and solar as a bonus when I set up at a table. I also appreciate that it does not require me to learn a new menu system. I press a button, get a clear reading, and move on. If I describe the single most useful scenario for me, it is remote work days. I take the Explorer 240 version 2 to a coffee shop patio or a quiet park bench when I need a change of scenery. I run my laptop, charge my camera batteries, and keep my phone topped off through the universal serial bus Type-C port. It stays silent. The display tells me exactly how much runway I have left, and I am not hunting for power outlets or worrying about draining a laptop battery to zero out in the field. When I head back, I charge the station from the wall, and it is good for the next outing. Across all of this, what makes it easy to recommend for someone like me is the balance. It is compact and light enough that I actually carry it. It has enough capacity to get real work done away from a wall. It is simple enough that I never feel like I am babysitting it. The battery chemistry and protection give me confidence that I can use it hard over many seasons. It is not a solution for heavy appliances or high-draw tools, and it is not a fast solar beast, but for laptops, cameras, lights, phones, networking gear, and small fans, it has been steady and reliable. So here is where I land. If I want a straightforward, dependable portable power station for day trips, weekend camping, photo and video jobs, and short home outages, the Jackery Explorer 240 version 2 fits beautifully. If I am planning to run space heaters, full-size kitchen appliances, or charge power-hungry e-bikes, I would step up to something larger. For my everyday needs, this has become the quiet little battery I trust to keep me working and to keep things simple. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the Jackery Explorer 240 VTWO. Thank you for watching.